All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're unpacking a really powerful parable, one that sets up this incredible clash between a lie that feels so good and a truth that is just absolutely terrifying. And it really forces you to ask some fundamental questions about suffering, about freedom, and what they really mean. And it all kicks off with this just chilling statement from a figure known as the Sapphire Prophet. He says, "Softness is not salvation, it is digestion." I mean, whoa. That one line just flips the whole idea of comfort completely upside down, and really, it sets the stage for the entire philosophical battle we're about to dive into. So, picture the scene. We're in this chaotic, kind of humid marketplace, and the air is just thick with what the story calls the rust of the spirit. You know, that feeling of friction, of pain, of people just chafing against the world. And right into the middle of all this suffering walks a high priest, and he claims he's got the ultimate cure. And, his offer is incredibly seductive. It's so clever because he's not promising to end their suffering. No, he's offering something way more powerful. He's offering meaning. He's telling the crowd, hey, your pain, it isn't random. It's actually a crucial part of this huge, beautiful tapestry of love, woven by a divine creator, the blind artisan. So this really lays out the two opposing views perfectly. On one hand, you have the priest, who's selling the universe as a cradle, right? A place of warmth, of purpose, all guided by this loving architect. But then, the prophet looks at the exact same reality and says, nope, that's not a cradle, it's a cage. A totally meaningless pattern cooked up by some bored, lonely, and frankly cruel fool. Okay, so let's dig into the priest's whole philosophy for a minute. His entire system, the whole shebang, is built on one idea: convincing people to just accept their lot in life, to become soft, to stop fighting against all that friction and just go with the flow. And the philosophical core of this whole thing is a concept called amor fati. Now, that's Latin for love of one's fate. But in this story, it gets a really dark twist. It's not just about accepting your fate, it's about convincing people to love their chains so much they don't even realize the door to the cage is unlocked. So the logic here is pretty clever, actually. You just reframe every single negative thing as a positive. That crushing weight of the wheel you feel? Oh, that's not a burden, it's a hug. That suffering? It's not pain, it's a divine embrace from the artisan. And if you just become soft and accept all of this, you get to live in this state of static ecstasy, basically a happy, numb submission. But, of course, this whole carefully built world of comfort and purpose, it's all about to come crashing down. Because the Sapphire Prophet shows up and he brings with him what the story calls the uncanny truth. And believe me, it shatters everything. And this line right here is the absolute core of his argument. The prophet takes the priest's central image, that cozy idea of being cradled in warmth and love, and he twists it into something absolutely horrific. He says, that warmth, it's not for your comfort. It's to prepare you to be eaten. You're not being cradled, you are being marinated. Yeah, so the prophet just pulls the rug out from under everyone. There is no loving blind artisan. He says the universe is actually the grand playground. And it wasn't created out of love, oh no. It was created by this clumsy, mean-spirited, and totally bored demiurge named Suckloss. And everyone in it, you're just his toys. Your suffering is literally his entertainment. Well, you can imagine how the high priest reacts to this. He's totally on the defensive, right? He just falls back on his main talking point, screaming blasphemy, the pattern is holy. He's trying to protect the very system that the prophet is tearing apart. But the prophet's reply is just perfect. It's so simple, and it cuts through all that religious talk. He doesn't even bother arguing about whether it's holy or not. He just redefines the whole thing. The pattern is a cage. And then the prophet takes it a step further. He moves past just words and philosophical arguments. He's about to offer cold, hard proof that the priest's entire divine system is, well, it's broken. It doesn't actually have any power. What's the proof? He just points to the high priest's own hand, the one the prophet froze with a single touch. All that protective oil, that belief in symmetry, none of it worked. The system completely failed its #1 fan, right there for everyone to see. Then he asks the one question that nobody can answer, the one that just seals the deal. If the artisan is all-powerful, why did his servant freeze? It's a simple, logical question that completely wrecks the priest's entire argument. The machine is well and truly broken. And the effect of this, it's immediate. But it's not a riot. It's not chaos. It's something much, much deeper. There's this fundamental shift, an irrevocable fracture in the consciousness of the entire crowd. For the first time in the marketplace's history, the constant buzzing just stops. The story calls it a new silence, and I love this description. It's heavier than the noise it replaced. Because that's not just quiet. That's the sound of an entire worldview shattering for thousands of people all at once. And in that heavy, deafening silence, it all clicks into place for them. They realize their grand purpose was just to be a reality show for a bored god. Their comfort was just a sedative to keep them quiet. The machinery of flesh was a trap. And maybe worst of all, the tools they held in their hands weren't tools at all. They were shackles that they'd been tricked into polishing. And this opens the door for a brand new and pretty radical philosophy. Not amor fati, love of your fate, but odium fati, a hatred of your fate. See, the prophet's whole point seems to be that you can't truly be free until you learn to despise your cage. That anger, that hatred for the pattern, that's what gives you the power to actually break free. But here's the crucial part. The prophet doesn't offer them a new comfort. He's not selling a better lie. He just takes away the warm, safe circle of the priest's world and replaces it with the sharp, absolutely terrifying, but also liberating possibility of the fracture. In this story, freedom isn't safe. It's not smooth, it's jagged. And that really brings us to the final haunting question of the whole parable, the one I want to leave with you. Which is better? To be a smooth stone in a comfortable wall, living in that static ecstasy, even if it's a prison? Or to be a jagged shard, broken and sharp, but for the first time, truly and terrifyingly free? What would you choose?